Hello my friends, welcome back to the shop. Today we are coming at you from the Crossroads General Store, and today we are talking about some really, these guys have got an incredible selection and they have an amazing shot. I'm going to roll some B-roll into that, but what they've got in here is a really cool used Para CCW. It's got some really cool features. We're going to get this thing down on the bench and show you what we're talking about. And I've also got kind of a little bit of a treat for you because we've got a Sabatti side-by-side here too. So we've got a double rifle. This is a double feature. Let's get it down on the bench and show you what I'm talking about. So down on the bench we have the Para CCW, and a lot of times it's just some of these used guns are just so cool to go through. What we have here is we have, and for those of you that aren't familiar, we've got this is a company called Para Ordnance. So they were building some really unique stuff, and I really wish that they were still around. I wish they were still producing firearms because they had pretty high quality, and they were sort of breaking the mold. They were one of the companies that was like, hey, what can we do differently? How can we break the mold on 1911? And how can we just really toss this on their head? And like I said, I just wish they were making guns today. But this is called their CCW. It's chambered in 45 ACP. Here it has one mag. But what we can see is that, and your eyes are not deceiving you, there is no beaver tail here. The beaver tail has been completely blended in. The grip safety still does exist and it is functional. And along with this whole safety has been swept, and you can just see, and I can bring this down in a bit. We can bring this zoom down in here just because I really want to highlight for you just how swept this thing is. But I'm telling you, this is still has a very positive index, and we can grab this safety and sweep it pretty fast. But what's also cool while we're down here, what I want to show you is this is a Novak style rear sight, and we've got some serrations on the back, and this is just a pretty basic three dot setup, which a lot of us are familiar with. However, this whole sight has just a big swept radius on it to prevent snagging as it's being produced from clothing. It's a really interesting setup. I don't know if these grips are stock, if this is what came on it from Para, from the factory or not, but it's just a really interesting design. Again, 45 ACP, nice, pretty short grip frame, and if we go ahead and rack it, and it does feel really good. We can see just from my hand, my big fat hand, and it's not as if I don't have a problem with getting bit, because I definitely do. You can see here, I had to bring down my exposure a little bit, but you can see here, I definitely have a problem getting bit by firearms. But once it's racked and we're ready to go, you can see that this is actually double action only. So every single time we're going to pull this back, this thing comes back. Now I've got a trigger gauge here, and I'll float in a quick trigger test. But I'm telling you that that's probably about 2 or 3 pounds for this thing to come back. So it's going to come back, and then we're going to hit a wall, and we have a really nice crisp break. And I think that crisp break is probably somewhere over 4 pounds, something like that, with a very distinctive snap for a reset. So it's just an interesting gun. Actually, I think we have to go all the way forward for a reset there. Yep. So we got to go all the way forward. But yeah, just some really cool features on this thing. No real hard edges. A lot of this stuff, it doesn't really look like it here, but this has got a slight chamfer to it, so a lot of these edges have been broken. This thing is made to be produced from clothing, snag free, and just be able to produce an accurate shot as fast as possible. It's a really cool piece of kit, and I thought that you guys really dig it. The other thing I've got sitting here on the table is I can't believe that they even have one of these, and I've never seen one in person. Just look at the color case hardening here on the frame. But we have a Sabatti side-by-side double rifle, which is pretty cool. So this thing's got a big old chambering. This is 9 We've got some Hornady ammo here, 286 grains. From what I understand, it's doing about 2,600 feet per second, which is absolutely flying, which is hauling. And it's, we can see if we lay it down, if we use this, I don't think it's going to chamber in the para, but we can see that we can see that we've got a pretty large, and in charge chunk of lead that's being produced from this rifle. So double rifles are very expensive to produce because of the soldering of two separate bores. And we'll just pull this other thing in. Because of the soldering of two separate bores and aligning these two bores to be accurate with our sight picture. But this thing is just super cool. And the quality delivered here, I'm sorry, I'm going to change this focus. The quality that's delivered here is really just incredible. So here we are with the Sabatti. What's really cool, I wanted to bring this thing up and show you guys, but we've got some we've got some really cool, really nice sights on here, nice and bright fiber optics. And we've also got some mounting here for an optic, which is pretty cool. And when we break this thing open, we can see down on the inside, we got some nice. Just beautiful pieces of steel, really gorgeous stock. Normally, I don't do a whole lot of long guns, but I just thought that this thing was just so absolutely beautiful, so cool that we just had to bring it to the channel, just because it's just so neat and shoots a pretty sizable cartridge. So. That is an overview on the Para CCW. It's unfortunate that these guys aren't still making firearms, because this thing is just super cool. What a nicely made piece of kit. A really interesting take on a 1911. Not like something that we see nowadays. This thing is just fascinating. And I couldn't be here. I couldn't be here standing in front of an actual double rifle. I got a soft spot for double rifles. I don't have the financial backing for double rifles. But what we've got here is this beautiful Sabatti side by side, and is shooting just a fairly large, small bore diameter, but a fairly large cartridge, and it's just a beautiful piece of design. Guys, it has been an absolute pleasure. Again, if you liked the video, this treat especial today brought to you by the Crossroads General Store. Check them out. It's super cool stuff, amazing, and just incredible inventory selection. Thanks a lot. I will catch you in the next one.